All right, guys, Bob Bain, Joe Mass here. Holy shit, we're finally at the end of these reviews. Episode 4 just aired. Stranger Things. We've been waiting for, 7 goddamn years, so it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
The Sorcerer.
The Sorcerer, cuz. What how does it get better? How does it get better?
It is so fantastic.
Let's talk about the way it opens. So the way it opens is
the military's collecting kids as bait.
Correct. So now Hopper and Elle are actually in an attack position now.
Yeah.
At the base in the Upside Down. And they're trying to infiltrate the Upside Down. This is what Elle has been training for. Since we saw her in episode 1 of season 5.
With the Goonies outfit.
Because with the Goonies outfit. She was Josh Brolin, right?
she got the Chucks or old Nikes on or something? I don't
know, but she had on the gray cut off T-shirt with the red bandana.
Drinking Gatorade for her battery.
Was it Brad? Was that his name in Goonies? Yeah. Brad? Remember they wrapped the thing around him in the recliner. So
you get to see what she was training for.
Correct. So now they're there. Okay. So now they are literally waiting to get inside to the base. Okay.
She starts timing it with the thunder. They work on putting a tracker on one of the Demigorgons.
Well, that's on the outside. So Hopper, there we go. So Hopper, episode 4, right? We have our characters in their positions. All right. We have Hopper and Elle in the Upside Down trying to infiltrate the base.
Correct.
Okay. Now we found out at the end of episode 3 that Max is, we're not going to say alive. We're not going to say she's suspended in something, right? With Holly.
You see her, you get to see her at the end of episode 3.
So the best part about this is we start finding some things out. He actually, and it took a little bit of convincing, right? Or not Holly. Max started convincing and explaining to Holly what was going on. Holly didn't believe her at first, but thank God she did.
Yeah.
And we start to find out basically that Max and Holly are inside Vecna's memories.
Correct.
So explain to me what your thoughts are about that. I do understand it, but I feel like it's complicated, right? Like it's very complicated to understand exactly what's going on.
Because you don't get to see Vecna till the very end of episode 4. But in the beginning of episode 4 and at some point in episode 3, I'm thinking to myself, if Vecna's trapped in that back room in the military base and they're using the signal jammers to keep him there, how is Henry functional in the memory?
I completely agree.
That's what I'm thinking. How is that possible?
Because
who's sending the Demigorgons to get certain people if he's jammed up? And how is Henry functional?
Because at this point, either episode 3 or episode 2, we think that they have Vecna as a weapon. They're holding him because they all saw him, the kryptonite, so to speak, behind the door.
Because they touch on, in episode 1, they say that they never actually saw him die at the end of the finale. And in episode 1 of season 5, they give you the impression that he might actually be dead, and they're just searching for confirmation of that. So that, coupled with the fact that Elle thinks Vecna's behind that back room, makes total sense to the viewer in at this point in the beginning of episode 4.
No, it does.
Antoinette's,
so we had the lovely Antoinette Bain on earlier. The talented Antoinette Bain on earlier. She gave her 2 cents, and Massey's going to plug her into this episode.
That in right here. What's up, bro? Put the headphones on. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're whispering. You got to get closer to the mic.
It's the funnier Bane. That's all I wanted to say.
Can you hear?
The funnier, the cooler Bane. I hear him calling Hopper Harper, and I'm laughing and
oh my God.
shaking my finger in shame.
Do you watch Stranger Things too? Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I watched the whole thing. Me and Nick already talked about it. I have my own theories that I'm willing to share with you at a later time because I don't want to interrupt what you have going on here. But just know there's a lot of shit happening. And that's all I'm saying. I'm telling you. Cool. Did you watch it all?
Yes, I watched all 4. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So once you get to a certain part, you got to start piecing shit together.
Yeah.
Joyce, Steve the Hare, the Wheelers, they all got shit happening.
She's all over the place, Mass.
I am.
I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that. What do you mean by that? They all have something going on.
So when Max is like going through the memories, like she's seeing what's the
all
guy's
of
name
Vecna's
again?
memories.
Vecna's memories, and then they do like a flashback to high school, and
Joyce
you have young Joyce.
Yeah,
You've got young Joyce, who, by the way, can we just discuss? She's like 7 feet tall. All right.
The CGI on her face was horrible. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I thought it was pretty okay, but they made her like 7 feet tall when Winona Ryder is probably all of 5'4.25".
Yeah.
Okay.
She was super tall.
But if you stop and you look at that flyer she's holding, you're going to make note of a couple of things. You're going to note the date. You're going to note who the production. You're going to know who's producing it, and then you're going to see a whole bunch of other names. You're going to have to pause it because you're going to see a whole bunch of other names on that flyer. You're going to notice that the second half of all of this is probably going to tie in. They all have something to do with Vecna. Joyce plays a part in why he is the way he is.
Well,
I secretly think that Will is Vecna's real son.
I think so. I said Will is Vecna. That was my prediction in the beginning before the episodes came out. But like you're saying, though, I think this is the first time that everybody realizes Henry was a normal kid in Hawkins with everyone else.
Yes.
And what happened to Will's father in the beginning of season 1? You never saw his dad.
No, you see him once when he goes missing, but it's very brief.
Do we see a face, though?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because I was thinking Vecna
it's brief. They don't give you a backstory.
Married to Joyce, and Vecna is Will's father.
That's what I think.
Yeah. But how if you saw a different man as the father in season 1?
Well, that's probably why they're not together, because he found out that Will's not really his kid. And that's why, and Joyce knows who Vecna really is, and that's why she's so adamant to protect him.
Woo.
I have a lot going through. I feel like I have like ADHD on steroids with all of this.
Yeah. I think you're onto something here, because I got like when she walked through that one memory and Joyce was handing out the flyers, you get like Back to the Future school dance vibes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and that's when it really starts to click for you. Like Henry was part of their group in the 50s. And then when you hear Max say that the memory of the cave is so horrible, Henry won't even walk into the cave, then you realize that like he was traumatized in some way, shape, or form, and he turned into this thing.
I see it.
Yeah.
Would it be what would have traumatized him that much, though, that it's like
it's got to be more than trauma. There has to be a supernatural element to it, because millions of people have been traumatized and you don't get the demon, and I don't know what to call him, but like there's a supernatural component to who he is now as Vecna. He created the Upside Down, and now it's coming into the regular world. Like it had to be more than trauma, because he has superpowers now or special abilities. Yeah, I think we're getting close.
There's a lot of shit. Part of my language.
I will pause the flyer and put it on the screen as we're talking about that part. But Bobby and I
you have to. You absolutely have to.
Yeah.
Another thing you have to go back to is Bobby had no idea that there was a Holly Wheeler. In the very first season.
I didn't either, to be fair.
In the very first season, what's the mom's name? Karen Wheeler?
Karen, yeah.
When Karen Wheeler, she goes to visit Joyce after Will disappears, and she sees that she's got lights all over. The lights are hanging, and then the lights are all, and she has Holly there with her, and the lights start flickering, and Holly goes and follows the lights into the bedroom. And then you see when she's in the bedroom, the lights are all going. She walks over to the wall, and you just see a hand getting ready to come through the wall, and then in comes Joyce to get her out. So I think that Vecna was targeting her then.
Probably.
Yeah, you have to go back and do a rewatch.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Woo.
I know. I just dropped a whole lot of bombs on you.
It's
guys
good.
Here.
Well, this is good because a few days ago, Bobby and I did predictions for what these 4 episodes were going to be. Now you're giving us predictions for what the last 4 are going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I look forward to everybody saying you were right. I love when people tell me I'm right. I do. I thrive off of that. If I find any more revelations that need to be addressed, I'll let you know.
Let us know. Come back on. Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Thank you.
All right.
The whole family appreciates it. It was fantastic having you on.
Lady Bane signing out.
So Derek is Henry's next victim. That we think this is when gives us the impression that they have captured Vecna. The military has captured Vecna. That's who we think is behind the wall. Oh, I'm sorry, behind that final door in the military base. And
correct.
I don't want to gloss over the memory situation because as Max was talking, they had a lot of B-roll of a lot of different memories going through the screen. So we were talking about in a previous episode of season 3 of our podcast how the meter or the machine in the hospital was starting to rise, and Max shows you like she's connected to music somehow, and Lucas keeps playing music, and the
Kate
delivery
Bush.
guy, what's that?
Kate Bush, hashtag Kate Bush.
Yeah, Kate Bush. The delivery guy keeps dropping off music to all of them, and so there was a ring. There was an engagement ring in one of those cassette tapes. I don't know if you caught that.
No,
who's the delivery guy from Russia? He's the one driving the delivery van.
Murray
gave a cassette tape to Will's brother.
No, he gave it to Lucas. He's like, no, it wasn't Lucas. It was
No.
like, I know you don't like jazz or whatever, but that
was Will's brother.
It was Will's brother, Jonathan.
But in that cassette tape, he said, what did he say to him?
You know why?
He said, I think you'll find this music very engaging.
Yes, and don't you remember a few years ago when him and Nancy first went to meet with him? He was like, guys, you guys love each other. You just don't know it. Remember that? The first time I met with him. That's interesting. You just said that. Very interesting.
So you find out in the cassette tape is an engagement ring.
I don't know how I missed that part. I must have looked down for a second or something.
Because him and Steve are fighting about her. And they're trying to out-jock each other. It's very brief. He opens up the cassette tape and you see the ring on screen for like a split second. But Lucas does not come into possession of his cassette tape from Mary. But Lucas is playing music, new Kate Bush music for Max in the hospital. And one of the memories Max had is like that top level of Vecna's brain, which is like all the blood and the spikes and stuff. And the closer she sees herself laying in the hospital bed and Lucas by her side, she says the closer she gets, she could feel his hand. And that's when the machine started spiking. And for some reason,
that makes sense. Okay.
When the cassette stopped, which kids today don't even know what that is with streaming and everything. But when the cassette stopped, she lost access to the portal. And she could no longer get back there anymore.
That makes sense. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. We also have this whole scenario. Dustin, Nancy, Steve, and Jonathan are now also in the Upside Down.
And they put a tracker in the Demigorgon.
Now you have 6 of our heroes, right? 6 of our, what do we say we're going to call them?
Our team.
6 of our team are in the Upside Down. So who's left on the outside?
Joyce, Will, Mike,
Lucas,
Derek.
So are they split? So is Derek part of the team now?
Yeah, of course he is.
So Derek Turnbow knows what's going on. He helped with that. Dude, he helped with the escape.
He was a major asset in the... So when the military is collecting the kids
how about when did he tell Nancy or did he tell Robin? Did he tell Robin to suck my big one? Was it Robin?
Robin. Yeah. When the military is collecting kids for bait and they put him in that, it looked like the room in the beginning of Scarface when they stab Rebanga. It looked just like that. So
hold on. He's like, hold on. How do I know that name? It's political.
Yeah. I told him what you told me to tell him.
He's like,
told him I was in sanitation.
This guy, he was a big man for the beard back in the day. Castro. He wet a lot of men for Castro. He's like, what did you just say? He was sanitation.
I told him what you told me to tell him. I told him I was in sanitation. He's like,
you
sanitation.
In a sanitarium. You had
I didn't
TV?
tell you to tell him you was in sanitation. I told you to tell him you was in a sanitarium. And then he's like, sanitation, sanitarium. What's the difference?
What's this? Me? That's from my sweetheart, man. He's like, no, it's the pitchfork. It's something like an assassin. He's like,
so what else do you see? You see
And here's another thing. The wall is obviously important, right? So
Derek,
Elle and Hopper ran into it. The BMW, Steve, the other 4 members of our team ran into it, right? And now Dustin actually,
not Derek.
Yeah, Dustin figures out, because if you remember, he didn't fail Algebra 1.
Yeah.
He knows how to do algebra. So it seems like this wall is in a circle.
And it's the boundaries of the Upside Down, of Vecna's world.
Okay, so, and the one thing I noticed too, they always talk about how he's flipped. All right, that's the new term, right? So you're right side up, you're upside down, so you flipped, right?
Right.
So is that why it's a circle? Because no matter what happens in a circle, if you flip it, it's still the same thing.
Right. And the center is the lab where everything began.
Well, Department of Energy, we found that out now too, right?
Right.
So, and remember you asked that question during our previews, like, why is it, Russia and this and that? And I said, my whole thing was it all happened in Hawkins to begin with.
The gates. Right. Yep. So
now here's what's crazy. Where are the Russians? Are they done? Are the Russians done? Is the gate closed in Russia? All of a sudden, the Russians figured it all out. Their world saved.
Yeah,
everything's fine.
know.
But in Hawkins, it's about to go to shit. I don't get it. Hold on, Mass. I think I have a German Shepherd here. Come here, babies. Who wants to...
Harper's also in the Upside Down.
She loves Stranger Things. Hey, guys, this is Harper. And this is why I keep saying Harper and not Hopper. She's my babies.
All right, so now let's talk about what happened in this final battle, this unbelievable ending to episode 4.
Are you talking about like the last 10 to 15 minutes?
Yes. That's where everything went down, because
this is when I thought I was going to need a Valium. But God, you talk about
I remember your text, you were like, holy fuck. So the children that were all collected as bait. Basically, every child in Hawkins is now in this military base with this entire faction of the army. Mike,
and they're not treating them bad. Let's be honest. They're just in like a dorm having fun, having pillow fights.
Yeah, they're in Scarface's place. So, but now Mike, Will, Lucas, Joyce, Robin, they're all there as well. And we find out that Will had some sort of premonition. And we find out that Vecna's targeting 12 children. Will was number 1. Holly was number 2. Derek was number 3.
Derek goes into the Supermax prison.
And he finds the other children by process of elimination who has encountered Mr. What's-It before, blah, blah, blah. Now, they try to escape with those kids, but they're not successful. So now multiple Demigorgons attack this base.
Yes.
And that's how the final scene begins. And the entire military and all of their firepower is useless against these Demigorgons.
It was a goddamn battle scene from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I mean, it was... People were just getting ripped
Game
apart.
of Thrones vibes. 100%. 100%.
And then, so how do we set this up? So I'm trying to think about how it all happened, because Will didn't just... So if you remember, here's what happened. No. Here's what happened. So this is way before that. Okay, so the Demigorgons are attacking, like you said, right? The army, right, is fighting them back. All right. Then all of a sudden,
they light one on fire.
They light one on fire, and I still don't know what that was all about, because we've never seen that before. You light one.
Yeah. And hold on.
But it was just one Demigorgon. It wasn't. They weren't lighting the wall on fire. They weren't lighting the gate on fire. It was one Demigorgon.
Well, hold on. They open the gate with flamethrowers, and you hear the chief tell Hopper that they become much more docile and weak under the heat, and they thrive in the cold. So I just think they had flamethrowers around for that reason, to open up the gate. And this one guy tried it on one Demigorgon. But it wasn't like an organized attack with flamethrowers. You're right.
Exactly. So
now go ahead. What were you going to say? Because there's a significance to lighting the Demigorgon on fire.
Yes. So now Will is freaking out on the ground, right? He
starts to feel
the
pain of it.
He starts to feel the pain,
like he's burning.
So now we get to a point where the montage starts, right? Yeah. All the terror, all the fanfare of, oh my God.
There's like one Demigorgon per child. Yeah.
Our heroes are going to be vanquished now, right? So that's what happens right at the end of apart, the first 4 episodes.
Vecna
so now
comes.
We're getting to the cliffhanger. So now I don't know if it's in Joyce's point of view, if it's in like Mike's point of view, but now they look over and they see this thin layer of the wall, which at that point, if you remember, Hopper and Elle were like walking towards an area. I thought it was them that was going to come through at that point.
So did I. Yeah.
So then Vecna comes through, right? And Will, he basically teleports Will over to him.
And they just had a conversation.
Right?
Bananas.
So
I mean, don't get no. He threw a couple army men around the base, and he did. Put his fingers through the one guy's head, which was really cool.
As far as this build-up at this point, because then he drops him, and then he
just
starts walking.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah,
and walks away, and he disappears.
Just starts walking away, and then all of a sudden, when the wall closes, the thin wall, I guess, back to the upside down.
The Demogorgons continue their attack.
They start waking back up again, right? They resurrect. It was it's very Game of Thrones.
Yes, absolutely.
Like the Night King, where
100%.
he's like resurrected. Now, and I love this scene. It makes so much sense. It set it up so perfectly. So now we have.
Well, hold on. Before you get to that part,
God.
Right before Vecna appears, Elle and Hopper find number 8.
Oh,
let's not forget about that.
Yes.
So we realize that it's not Vecna behind that final back door.
It's her fucking sister.
It's her sister, number 8. So right then and there, you're like, 8 and 11 together are totally going to kill Vecna.
That's why they're trying to keep them apart.
And now we get to what you're about to say. So hit us with the final scene. Vecna goes back.
Demogorgons continue to attack. Okay. Vecna goes back. And then Will is incapacitated, right? He was trapped by Vecna. And then all of a sudden, like our heroes, we see them. We see the Demogorgon is going to attack Lucas, right? In the tunnel. He's going to attack Robin, who's outside the van. Mike. And then all of a sudden, and the way it's filmed, it's suspenseful for about 5 seconds, right? You don't know what's happening. And then the way the camera, it's almost like 160 degree.
It was a little Matrixy, like when he's ducking the bullet.
Matrixy.
Yeah, when he's ducking the bullet. Yeah.
I agree. And then at that point, I'm like, what the hell is, we all thought it was Elle.
Yeah.
We all thought Elle.
Yeah.
Now and then we find out that it was freaking Will, who now all of a sudden is a telepath or whatever, just like
he's
Elle,
like
right?
8 and 11, but he appears to be way more powerful than them.
So why? And this is the question we're going to end this with for the next 4 episodes. How did this happen, right? Was Will always a telepath and we didn't know? Okay, that's one. That's A. Is he a telepath now because he's the first and he was the
Vecna
one who
screwed up?
Because you know why? You know why he screwed up? The lovely Antoinette Bain, who we had on earlier, this goes to her. She said this. All right. Remember how Vecna said, I prey on the weak and you were the first? He decided not to be weak anymore.
Yeah, because you said, he starts to rebel against his mother. Yeah.
Correct. He wasn't weak anymore. Now that he's not weak, Vecna is going to be like, holy shit, I picked the wrong person.
Wait, what if all 12 of them become strong and all 12 of them have telepathic capabilities?
So I asked that to my wife yet, and she doesn't know if that's going to happen, but I think it might.
I think it would be overkill.
But
now
I do
have a team that can actually rival Vecna.
But I do love the fact that what you just said, he's been weak throughout the whole goddamn series, right? Yeah. He was the weak kid in the group, the weak kid in the party. His mom was a helicopter mom. Finally, in season 5, we see him say, Mom, the same shit's not going to work anymore. We're going to do this. We're going to do that.
You realize.
And when Vecna said, you were the first because you were so weak. And then he's like, you know what, son of a bitch, I'm not weak. And now he turned into a telepath. Is that what happened?
Yeah, because you hear him playing back what Robin was telling him in the tunnel. She's like, I realized I had the ability the whole time. And him standing up to his mom was like the foreshadowing of him taking a stance and not being weak anymore.
I agree with you 1,000,000%. The way we're going to end this is, I think we can agree that my theory, one of my theories, we all had multiple theories. So far, my theory is panning out that we all, and it's natural, we all thought 11 was going to be the key to saving the universe, right?
Yeah.
Saving the right side up from the upside down. Remember, I was like, guys, we're looking at it the wrong way. It's going to be Will Byers. Will Byers is the key. So far, it looks like that's what's happening, right?
No, you said Will was dying.
I didn't know. I said Will die by the end of the season.
Oh,
I also
he might have
said,
to sacrifice himself.
Correct. He's also the one who's going to save the world.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
All right. Let's end there. Cliffhanger.